Sarah, I got to give you a compliment before we get started. The pace of your show is unbelievable. You are every bit the reason why I got into radio is because I believe in theater of the mind, and you do that with this. I mean, the way you share your stories, the way that you keep it fresh and moving forward, it really is a great performance.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's necessary, so I'm here for it.
I can't imagine your show prep. I know what I go through and how far out I have to do. I can't imagine what your notes look. Are they handwritten or are you typing them out?
Typing them out, yeah. I've done 13 straight years of daily live radio for ESPN, so I'm treating it sort of similarly where even though it's a podcast and has to get edited, it's a little harder to turn around. At least it's only 30 to 40 minutes, and I used to do 2 to 3 hours every night. So it's just a matter of you need to just constantly be keeping up with what's going on, which is a lot, but that's why people like listening, because they get to find it all out in one place.
I'm glad that you're bringing that energy of that radio to it. And the reason why I bring that up is because I a couple of weeks ago, I thought, why don't I just get back into jocking it up a little bit on some of my episodes? Because I think that's what people want. They want that, not star, but they want somebody who's got confidence and is willing to share the story.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best podcasts are a combination of subject matter expert types, someone you want to hang out with. And I think particularly for podcasts, the ones that I listen to regularly, I'm carrying them around with me all day. They become integrated into my life. And I'm sure if you talk to some sort of neuroscientist, they would tell you that you're filing that in a different place than where you're filing, say, a book or a TV show. If you're sitting on the couch watching some highly produced thing, it feels very distant. But if I'm walking my dog, running my errands, going grocery shopping, cooking dinner, and I have these voices in my head every day that I get to know and really understand, they almost feel like a community. And so that's what I'm trying to create with the show.
Well, you do that with your group chats. I mean, you include people in, and I feel like it's like, wow, I'm in the control room with them. Look at this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of it, too, is pulling back the curtain and letting people see. One of the things we did in our second group chat, which is where we take the tea from the text onto the airwaves, all the things we talk about via text, we try to bring them up onto the show. One of the things we did was read a listener email that was critical of an interview I did or a response to the interview. And I wanted to bring that to the airwaves and say, this is my thought process of why I asked or didn't ask that question. What do you guys think? Should I have done it? How do you respond? You're a producer. The guest was a producer of Around the Horn, the TV show. I said, you're a producer. How would you have produced that segment? I want people to feel like they're in on understanding not just the information we're giving, but how we're deciding what to bring you. And also, I want people to know I don't take myself that seriously, which is pretty rare in this profession. I want people to know I'm doing my best, but I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to have you tell me I'm wrong and get better and change it. That's just like something we're missing in society today. I think it's like, let's get more information and change our minds.
One of the things that you do is you include everybody in your performance. And what I mean by that is that you set it off right away. Even if you're new to women in sports, yes, we are. And I give credit to the WNBA. It's on prime time. It's on the front page of the newspaper. Yeah. It's all changing for us. And we need someone like you who's going to say, hey, look, here's what's going on.
Yeah, I think, when Caitlin Clark and the March Madness stuff spilled into the start of the WNBA season, there was some truly unhinged rhetoric going on and also some tremendous gatekeeping, even from people who want to grow the game, who felt like their work and their existence in the space for years meant that they could push back on the newbies who didn't know much. And for me, that's never the way to get people to embrace the thing you love. It's like a band you love and being mad when they get popular. You're like, wait, I thought you supported them, right? And so for me, I used to do improv at Second City for years and years, and that always relied on the concept of yes and. So what I say is yes, many of us have been here before and followed this and supported it, and welcome to the new people. We're happy that you're here. Jump on board and get educated, and let's have some good conversations about it.
The way I look at it is that you are a coach for armchair quarterbacks.
Yes, there you go.
I mean, you bring it in, but you do it, like I said, at that pace, that speed that gives us the opportunity to digest what you're sharing, and then we move on to the next story.
Yeah, I think for me, there's so much you could put in a show like this because it doesn't exist. There are no other places to get daily women's sports news and conversation and reaction. And so it was overwhelming at first. And then I thought, what would I want? And one thing I want is off the top, here's what you need to know today. So we do that every day. This person won this person got traded, this person said this and is facing backlash, whatever those top headlines are. Then it's maybe a big conversation or interview with someone or a couple different things. But, that to me was really necessary because we're doing a better job of talking about individual female athletes telling their stories. We're doing a better job of covering major tentpole events like championships or titles, but we're not doing the connective tissue that brings you between each game and helps you care about wanting to watch the next one, which we've been doing for men's sports for literally like a century. Yeah. So I want to help, you just get to know the names and leagues and people every single day, slowly but surely, so that you care more. Not
just the names. We've got to get the faces too, because we've got to be able to go in there because that's what I think that music is going through right now. We know the songs. We just don't know who's singing it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we used to buy a whole record and look at the liner notes and the photos on the inside. Yeah. And now you just hit a button on Spotify and it spins you through a bunch of different things. And then you realize, oh, I have no idea who sung any of those songs or what they were called or anything about it. Yeah, I think for women's sports in particular, social media has been massive because you've been able to follow some of the athletes and leagues you love the most and really get them in a timeline where you're organically scrolling and reading and watching and seeing these things right alongside other stuff you care about. And that's been huge.
We're about ready to dive into the Olympics coming to an end. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be so addicted, and we're going to have to face that emptiness. What am I going to watch? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? They've got to discover your podcast so that we can be educated on what's going on around the rest of the world.
Yeah, because right now everything's kind of at a break while they watch the Olympics and play the Olympics. But when we come back, we're fast and furious for the second half of the WNBA season. Yep. We've got NWSL, National Women's Soccer League, and all those soccer players that you're going to watch in the gold medal match on Saturday. Most of them are going to come back and be playing for teams perhaps in your backyard that you can go watch. That was one of the things that really struck me is in Chicago, there's such a massive amount of things to watch and go see. And for years, I didn't even know we had a women's professional soccer team that Megan Rapinoe was playing a half hour away from me. And so I think the best thing we can do as we're trying to continue growing these sports and these professional women's leagues is to really invest the resources right after the Olympics when you're most excited about these people and you've given yourself the time to hear their stories and care about them, is then figure out how do you pivot that attention to the professional softball leagues for Athletes Unlimited, basketball, soccer, all the other things. There's going to be a new professional women's volleyball league called Love Pro, and 75% of the U.S. Olympic indoor team is already signed to contracts. So if you're watching those volleyball games and loving it, starting in November, you'll get the preseason, and in January, the regular season, and you can watch and attend them in a professional league. So it's really cool.
Wow. Where can people go to find out more about you and give you a lot of love? Because I know your fan base is huge, and they love you.
God bless them. SarahSpain.com is my website, and Good Game with Sarah Spain is the show where you can search that anywhere you get your podcasts, hit that subscribe or follow button, and then hang out with us every day, just about 30, 40 minutes. And we're trying to create a really fun community.
Are you going to call that community Spainer Gamers? I kind of like that name.
We actually held a vote and we had a lot of names. I wanted to make it more about the show and less about my name because, we've had Spanians and other things. We ended up with slices, like orange slices, because the show is good game, like the handshake line at the end of the game. You always get your orange slices after the game. So my listeners are my little slices.
I love it. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
I will. You too.